the revolution starting inside. An instrumental part of Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide. Counter economics. Agorist strip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Agorist strip. Black market click. Move a quick flip. Can't regulate this. Agorist.
Agorist.
Agorist. Nexus. Agorist.
Agorist Next podcast. I'm Brandon. I've got my great co-host Dag. How you doing, Dag?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good, even considering the fact that I've been spending my day doing taxes, you know, in Agorist's favorite time of year.
Right. Well, when is tax day this year? I don't even know.
It got pushed to May 17th. Yeah, so and I have, because I have an LLC and everything, it's like I actually have to, like, you know, it really just means I have to do a year's worth of accounting that I don't really do. So and then it makes me mad that the only reason I have to do it is so that I have some sort of records in case the IRS decides to fuck with me, you know. I'm like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, I know if I'm profitable or not. That's not the best business practice, I know, but still.
Right. Yeah, I guess having an LLC is a good way of like paying less taxes. I mean, for some people, I mean, I don't want to, you know, put anybody under the spot or anything, but
well, it sucks because it's like, on the one hand, it's like you're getting involved, you know what I mean, like more in the government and everything, but on the other hand, it also means like I can write basically everything off. Most of the jobs I do, I'm like, you know, if I'm getting, you know, rung up for taxes, I'm getting 1099, and when you're 1099 versus like a wage employee, you can write off your gas, you can write off your lunch, you know, you can write off everything. So if you do it right, you come out making $100 a year, you know, and you're not lying or anything, you're not breaking the law, and you know, you end up not really paying anything in taxes. It's almost like they gotta be like, okay, those of you who are sharp enough to understand that this is all a scam, we'll give you this little out, but the majority of people are like wage employees who don't really know how taxes work. So, you know, they just get the raw end of the deal, I think. At least that's the way I see it. So
yeah,
but you know, whatever, gotta do what we gotta do. So
yeah, absolutely. So
jump into her here after we talk about our good friends over at Presearch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Presearch, decentralized search engine. They've got dark mode, decentralized searches. Your searches won't be censored. They don't spy on you. Yeah, I mean, we've just got so many good things to say about them. So
great to have a good alternative to, you know, Google, or I don't know. I don't really mind DuckDuckGo, but I've heard some possibly shady things about them. So, you know, it's just nice to be able to have one that works really well, and you know, we can actually contact the dude who runs it if we want. You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been great. Oh yeah, and earn crypto while you search too. I mean, so it's like a no-brainer, and I've been really impressed with the, you know, with the searches that I get and everything else. So
yeah, I've been using them a lot for news recently too. So that's good. That's good. Speaking of news,
if you guys want to support us or whatever, just, you know, click the Presearch affiliate link there, and any other affiliate links, and you know, most of them are just completely free to do so. So you'll be supporting us and doing us, you know, supporting us in a free way. So, but yeah, with that said, we've got a bunch of news. You want to start it off, Dag?
Sure. All right. Came in a little early. So, we actually are doing a tobacco special today. You know, we've had some tobacco stuff that I've kind of been wanting to talk about for a little bit, but it wasn't exactly new or pressing. It was just kind of interesting. But then here, after this last week or so, there's been some current stuff going on, and it all kind of ties in. So, you know, we figured it'd be a good time to discuss it. Basically, if you guys haven't heard, they are talking about on a federal level banning menthol. And something else that they are working on doing is actually reducing the amount of nicotine in cigarettes. So we'll talk about those items. What I had been wanting to talk about was that they've actually done menthol bans in particular states in the past. And I think it's been like a year since Massachusetts did theirs, and so there's like some fun stats and stuff that have come in. Nothing at all surprising, to anybody who understands how markets work, or to anybody who has any sort of slight interest in black and gray markets. Even just over history. It all should be pretty obvious. But I guess we should start there, man. This happened about a year ago, and I should pull the article up here, but yeah, basically Massachusetts banned menthol products, and there was a lot of pushback against it, primarily from like the ACLU, because they're like, hey, this is going to cause like more policing on black communities because spoiler alert, a lot of black people smoke menthols. So and really saying it like that isn't right. It's just the black people who smoke menthols, it's like 84% of them smoke menthols, so it's just a higher percentage. But they're like, okay, well, this is going to cause unnecessary policing in their neighborhoods. Probably everybody knows that there's a little bit of tension there right now between cops and black community. So nobody wants that. Of course, we can recall Eric Garner, who was murdered by the police for selling untaxed cigarettes. It wasn't because of a menthol ban, but let's just bear in mind that they won't stop short of murdering you for selling cigarettes. But there's a lot of pushback. Convenience store owners associations are like, dude, this is going to cripple us, and it turns out they weren't necessarily wrong. Their actual sales revenue from tobacco products is way down. While if you look at neighboring states such as New Hampshire, Rhode Island, I think there's another state that touches Massachusetts. Sorry, my New England geography is pretty terrible. But they all have had a lot more menthol cigarette sales, like 65% more in Rhode Island. Menthol sales in New Hampshire 91%, and Rhode Island rose by 40%. So obviously I don't need to tell you guys this, people just go somewhere else to get what they want, and of course now the state is, a lot of people are mad in the state because they're having like huge like tax shortfalls. And not that I'm upset about that, but it is just funny when politicians do shit, it just ends up coming back to bite them in the ass for one reason or another, but yeah, I mean, nothing really surprising there. I'm kind of wondering, I haven't necessarily seen any stories about this, but I'm really wondering like there's got to be something going on, like somebody's got to be bringing in like truckloads of menthols and selling them somewhere, like maybe there's like a secret code at like the bodega or something to get a pack of menthols. Like that has to be going on, right?
Yeah, you just have to wonder, and I wish we knew, but yeah, it sounds super interesting. I guess people would stock up or buy by the truckloads in other states, and then bring them in. But yeah, I guess that's changing now with and that's Massachusetts. I guess that's changing now with the Biden bans. So yeah, do you want to start off with the Biden ban, or it's not even really like a law, right?
Right, and this is all a little like, so when we start getting into the weeds here with like government, like let's say like elected officials, and then like the agencies, like the agencies have like a lot of power, even though they're not elected individuals, to just sort of write, I don't even know if we call it law, but to write regulation and everything. So the FDA obviously is one of the biggest, and probably one of the ones that affects our lives the most, probably some of the most negative ways. But yeah, so it's kind of like the FDA has been trying to do stuff like this like forever. And if you guys recall a couple years ago when the other guy was in, T-Dog, they took away like flavored whatever, a lot of flavored cigarettes, flavored vaping products, and they raised the smoking age to 21, which is weird because like I remember like working at my shop, like I asked like the 18-year-old kid to like run down the street and grab a pack of smokes, and he's like, I can't. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you have to be 21. I'm like, what is this world coming to? Like, it's so weird. But so this is just something that's just been rolling on. So I don't even know like how to say like, if, because when I read about it, it says Biden this and that, but it sounds like the FDA is doing this as a response to a petition from whatever, just people allegedly. But it lines up perfectly with what they want to do anyhow. So, who knows? I'm sure they get petitions all day long to do things they don't like, and they don't do anything about it. But yeah, so they were supposed to have some sort of, I don't know what you call it, decision or whatever by the 28th. That was the deadline for this petition, and it looks like what they have done is, they said they're going to go through with the ban. They said it'll probably take a year. There's not a lot, that they're giving to us beyond that. So there's a couple things. Of course, they're claiming that it's to help people of color because they disproportionately smoke menthol. So we're just going to take away something they like and assume that, they're not going to pick up regular cigarettes or whatever. And it's just funny because I'm looking at an article here by CNN, and they're talking about who they're going to help. So they're going to help, communities of color, low income populations, and LGBTQ plus individuals, all of whom are far likely to consume these tobacco products. So it's just very funny to me to see all these quote unquote like protected classes, these days, the ones who are the, just the poor, helpless people who can't do anything for themselves. Obviously, I'm being facetious when I say that. That's like who they're saying they're doing this to help, but they're just bringing like government action against them. Okay, now their counterpoint to that is like, no, that's not what's going on, because we're not actually going to target individuals. We're only doing like sale, manufacture, distribution, that kind of thing. So the people just won't be able to get them. So there's nothing, so we're not actually targeting people. But there's a couple things here, right? There's one, what if it's like a black store owner? Then you're definitely targeting him if he wants to sell menthols, right? Two, like, you're still just fucking with people, man. Like, let them have what they want. They're just gonna go smoke something else. And then three, when they say that they're not going to target like individuals, once again, we go back to like Eric Garner or something. Like, people are going to be selling menthols. You can't buy them in a store. Someone's going to be on the corner slinging menthols, dude. I fucking promise. They're going to be one of the ones driving to another state or getting them from another country or making them, or God, counterfeits or something. I mean, now we don't have to worry about counterfeit menthols. Who knows what kind of crazy chemicals are going to be putting in these regular cigarettes to simulate menthol taste, right? So it's just a regular ball of prohibitional bullshit, man. And then, they're slapping these like, feel good things on, like we're doing it to help these communities. But I mean, I don't know, dude. If I say, hey, I want to help this community, let me send a bunch of men with guns in there to make sure they don't do shit I don't like. That's not, I don't know. That just seems counterintuitive to me.
Hey guys, quick pause here to tell you about our sponsor, Devault Cryptocurrency. Ticker symbol DVT is a low cap coin with a market cap around 900,000. So there could be room for opportunity here. Not financial advice, but we really like this project.
Yeah, the Devault Core Wallet is one of the best I've ever seen. Very user friendly, super easy to use with cold staking rewards. So it's like getting interest. They're working on privacy with Terraform, also DeFi to decentralize and replace financial institutions.
So go ahead and check them out over at devault.cc and get you a Devault Core Wallet today. Also, be sure to check out the show notes to find exchanges that they are traded on. With that said, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like anybody's helping anybody. And see, I know that I was a menthol smoker, so I know from experience that this wouldn't really do anything except for like piss me off. Now, I quit smoking about 10 years ago, but yeah, so I don't know exactly like what it would be like trying to get my menthols. And I guess the thing too, have we covered the tobacco? We haven't covered the tobacco yet. How they, or the nicotine. Yeah.
No, I mentioned it briefly, but we didn't get into that one yet.
Yeah, this would have just pissed me off if you had taken away my menthols. But it's crazy that the FDA can just say, okay, we're banning this and without any law or anything. It just shows you that that really everything's special interests and
voting doesn't matter.
Yeah, and voting doesn't matter. Stuff's still going to get banned or whatnot. So, yeah, that you bring up a great point there. And with the cigarette reduction, or the nicotine reduction. Obama did one of those back in, it was like 08 or 09. I think it started in 09. And all I did,
passed the, go ahead.
that was actually law though, right?
Something like that. Yeah, it started in 09, and that's where they got the legal ability to do this, I guess. To reduce the nicotine in the cigarettes. Yeah, they got back then. So yeah, it's been, I guess, a slowly rolled out thing.
I know that when that happened, the nicotine reduction, in 2008 I would smoke a half a pack, and in 2009 I smoked a full pack a day. So like if anything, it was even worse for my health because I was sitting there smoking more to get the same fix. And then I would be, who knows, they probably loaded up with more chemicals and stuff instead of like the, pure nicotine, but because they put less nicotine in it. But yeah, the thing about it is like prohibition never works, right? Like you can try to ban or regulate stuff, but the thing is that they can't even keep drugs out of prisons. I mean,
yeah,
think about it like that, like a controlled area where they do strip searches. They have different areas that are closed down and only available to guards, and multiple walls and cameras everywhere, and they can't even keep drugs out of prison. So I mean, let that roll around for a second. Like if they can't even keep drugs out of prisons, how do they expect to ban or regulate almost any product on a huge scale like this? It's just mind-boggling how incompetent and I don't know what the word is. I mean, if they're doing it on purpose, I mean,
I want to say foolish, but they have to know. I mean, the war on drugs, right? I mean, same fucking thing, or I mean, we go back to prohibition from the 20s, on alcohol, and that was the same thing as what this menthol thing's supposed to be. It wasn't like use or possession wasn't like illegal. It was like sale, trafficking, manufacture, that kind of thing. But look at the violence that caused, so to say that this isn't going to cause any, any issues or whatever is foolish at best case scenario, and downright dishonest and evil, worst case scenario. Maybe somewhere in between, but I mean, you have to know. I mean, you have to know. I mean, you can't look at history from prohibition, or we could say the whole drug war, but just pot. I mean, just fucking look at pot, like, come on, dude. People get around it. Now, I'm waiting for some more details on this, because here's one thing I'm wondering about. So what it says is menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. So I assume that's for like blunts, right? So I'm curious if that means all tobacco products. So it means vapes. So it would have meant vapes too. But so here's my thing. Let's say like they just had wraps, like blunt wraps. It's not like a cigar. It's just a wrap. I wonder if they're still allowed to flavor that. And then the other is if you go to a tobacco store and you get like tobacco to like roll your own cigarettes, which if you smoke cigarettes, you should, because, save a shit ton on taxes. But they usually have regular tobacco and menthol tobacco. So I'm wondering if you'll still be able to buy like menthol tobacco. It's not yet a cigarette. That's why it's not taxed at the same rate and all that. It's just tobacco. Yeah. I hope that, you can still do that, because then, it'd be so easy, man. Get a bunch of little Agorists out there with cigarette rolling machines, making menthols all day.
Right. Yeah. And, this is just crazy to me. There's an argument like 10 years ago. It was like in a small little forum. And this was like where libertarians went, because we didn't really have very many outlets back then. And it was like 10 or 11 years ago. And like there were questions like, okay, are they stupid? Are these politicians stupid or evil? And I was on the their evil side. A lot of people are like, no, they're just stupid and foolish and stuff like that. But I'm like, man, some of this stuff, like, they have to know. They just have to. And if they don't know, then they really shouldn't be in office, right? Like, if they don't know that prohibition doesn't work, they definitely shouldn't. Now, they definitely shouldn't be in office, first of all. But I don't believe that anybody should be in office. But yeah, and
they're blatantly not suitable for the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you don't know, I mean, so either you're like extremely evil or you're not suitable for the job and completely stupid. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of still with the same notion that that many of them know that this doesn't work and that they're just pure evil. And I guess the thing is that when we look at laws and stuff like this, or just regulations or whatever, and it's so crazy that it's not coming from like the government, that it's coming from the FDA and that they didn't really have to sign or pass anything. When we look at stuff like this, it's like, tobacco has been legal forever. I mean, it would be like taking away, all these different flavors of alcohol or whatever. But I really think that they're doing this to create chaos and piss everyone off, and to make these communities who you're taking away everyone's favorite cigarettes in a lot of these like poorer communities. So, naturally you're going to have a lot more pissed off people. So I think it is going to create just more chaos, because we know what prohibition brings too. And I think that's really what they want. They want chaos. I mean, that's why with COVID, they let out all these prisoners. Some of them were violent offenders too. So yeah, I just think that they want to create chaos. They want to destroy stuff. They want crime to go up. I think
this
that's
year
really
especially, man, right? Because it's like, if I was the government and I was like, let's go ahead and do something that is gonna for the cops to specifically target Black people. It's like, maybe this year isn't the best year for that. You know what I mean? Like, there's been a lot of tensions this year, so it's almost like you would only do that if, yes, you wanted to cause problems,
yeah, I mean, especially after COVID, you're right. Especially after COVID, it's like
COVID, and then of course the
Black Lives Matter protests.
Yeah,
and stuff.
the riots. Oh, why can't I think of the guy's name?
George Floyd.
God damn it! Yeah. You all know, what I'm talking about. But yeah. Just after this year, man, I just don't get it. So I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. It definitely seems like they've been having quite a push against tobacco here in the last couple of years. They have nothing better to do, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, the other thing which we briefly talked about was that they're now talking about reducing nicotine levels all the way down to nothing. Eventually, I guess I saw that they can't legally make it nothing, or something like that. I don't know. It's silly, but again, no real timeline on that yet. It's just like,
that's just crazy because they want you to just smoke pure, like almost all chemical, and take away all the like natural nicotine out of it. It's just this is even worse. And I think they want to kill people and make people more unhealthy and cause more addiction. Like that's really the only reason why you do something like this. Because when you take away more nicotine, you're you pretty much have to put something in there to give people the fix, or else they're not going to buy your cigarettes. They're going to buy, if Camel can't do it, well, then I'm going to buy, something that hits harder, maybe Cools or, Marlboro or whatever. So, I mean, that's exactly what happened with the first nicotine reduction back in 08 or 09 was when it started. They just added more chemicals. Same with the like they tried to make them like fire retardant or something.
Yeah, fire safety cigarettes. So they go out. Like if you smoke slowly, you have to relight your cigarette a lot. Yeah, I think that was about the same time. I remember that.
Yeah, that really pissed me off too. Back then.
And there's and just really, I don't know. I don't have I read them. I'm sorry. If I was better, I'd have the numbers right in front of me. Actually, I might. Oh, I do. Okay. So here's one thing that's so it's kind of going back to the menthol thing for a second, but this was interesting. Basically, and this just to again illustrate that this whole thing is stupid and pointless. They're basically everything that they're saying it's for, to help save, people of color. But it actually, like, black youth smoke at lower rates than white youth. Black and white adults smoke at similar rates. The actual consumption to cigarettes is like less among black people. So it's just like, it's like not even like a thing. You know what I mean? It's just more stupid bullshit rules amongst it. So what do we do about this?
All right, let's take a quick second to shout out Agorist Acres Seeds. AgoristAcres.com stocks a variety of seeds for your garden or homestead. They also have really cool packaging instead of those silly paper envelopes.
Buy seeds with crypto, support the counter economy, and become self-sustaining today. Agorist Acres offers fast shipping so you can get started right away.
Make sure you use code Nexus10 at the checkout for 10% off of your orders. Also, they will donate a portion of the sale to Agorist Nexus, helping to bring you all the great content you expect. And all right, let's get on with it.
I'd probably say let's start to grow tobacco. Like, let me just make it ourselves. Is that going to be the new like black market crop? I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to turn it in menthol.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I guess it grows in like Tennessee and like anywhere south of that. Is that for the most part? Is that correct?
As far as I know, we're actually growing some right now. I've never grown it before, but it's growing. There's some stuff to learn, I guess, in order to make it like have more nicotine in it. You actually like beat it up and it makes more nicotine. Nicotine's like a defense mechanism for plants. It's actually very toxic. And it's like a pesticide. So a lot of plants that are related to nicotine are nightshades or nightshade family. So that's gonna be like your tomatoes, your eggplants, your peppers, your potatoes. Those are all the same family. That's why like a lot of like nightshade stuff is actually toxic. You can eat tomatoes, obviously, but yeah, it grows south like that. This can be my first batch, but yeah, we're kind of doing it just kind of for fun and just because why not? One time, oh gosh, this would have been like 10 years ago. I was coming back from South Carolina and just driving through fields and fields and fields of tobacco, and pulled over and like I snagged a couple leaves off of a plant and brought it home and dried it and used it as a blunt wrap. And it worked pretty good. It was nice, nice and fresh and unprocessed.
Nice, yeah, so, yeah, and it's probably better than burning paper too, right?
Maybe. I mean, I don't think it could be much worse. It's more au naturel. And that actually brings me to something else. Is like, does anything like this do to general people who operate, in the market, like store owners? We saw that in Massachusetts, store owners were getting much less business. And I'm not saying I want people to smoke cigarettes, but like, I don't want government to come in and just fuck shit up. Like, I want markets to make those decisions. We could also think about anybody involved, from growing tobacco to people who work at the facilities that process, that make cigarettes, make whatever. We could be talking about these people losing jobs. Again, I'm not opposed to an industry phasing out, because of market forces, but when government just comes in and says, no, you can't exist or whatever, or puts undue pressure on them, that's really frustrating. It reminds me of the South Park with the smoking, and they go to the tobacco family or the tobacco factory, and Rob Reiner's trying to get everyone to quit smoking. That's one of my favorite episodes ever, and this kind of thing just reminds me of that. Like, there's this dude sitting in the bar smoking a cigarette, and Rob Reiner goes up, he's like, "Oh, excuse me, me smoking inside." And he's like, "Look, buddy, I work 14 hours a day at the sawmill. Like, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna have my drink, I'm gonna smoke my cigarette, this is all I get when I need to relax." He's like, "Well, when I need to relax, I go to my vacation house in Hawaii," and it's just like, whenever just politicians just try to regulate us normal people, it's just like, man, you guys have no fucking idea what our lives are like, fuck you, dude. I hardly think that a lot of these people like menthol cigarettes is like their biggest issue in their life,
Yeah. Good point. So I think we've pretty much covered everything. I mean, yeah, I guess the solution would be growing tobacco. I guess you can grow it indoors. Now, are you going to have enough for consumption? Who knows, right? Like, how much do you need? How much tobacco do you think one needs to grow to be able to keep up with their habits? Yeah.
I mean, I go through, I don't even use a whole pound of dried tobacco a year. I don't smoke a lot anymore. But I usually throw it out before I even use it all because it gets like dried up and stuff, I'll buy like a pound and it'll last me like over a year. So that's not much at all. A pound, I want to say, is probably approximately a carton of cigarettes. A pound, maybe a carton and a half of cigarettes. So, I've known people who smoke a carton a week. So it might be a little different per person. And I'm not sure what it comes out to once it's dried. I have no idea. Maybe I'll be able to report back in a year once we get our tobacco harvest.
I used to go through a carton every 2 weeks. So, a carton's 10 packs, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, a little less than 2 weeks. I'd especially in 08, it was fine. But once they did the reduction, I started going up to a full pack a day. And that really kind of pissed me off because it was like, I feel worse, but I'm trying to get the same fix.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm spending more money for it. And it just showed you like my hate for like, especially Obama at the time, but also like my hate for like government and regulations in general. And I mean, I've been a libertarian since 2002, but it was like we're doing this in the name of health. But like me personally, I'm like, this is not making me healthier. This is making me worse. This is like making my health worse. And so, yeah, I mean, I want everybody to be free, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that. But I think there is kind of a silver lining here, and that is that the government will get less revenue. So there's always a silver lining, and yeah, just fuck them, man. Like,
and the more silly bullshit, the more it'll become apparent to more people. Hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully they realize, okay, government just took away the one thing that I wanted and made it harder for me to get and more expensive and all this other stuff. Hopefully they realize that it's government and not, capitalism, right? So
keep your hand off my Winstons.
Come and take them.
That's what white trash still smoke.
Come and take them.
Yeah.
You need like a Newport type. Was there anything else you wanted to cover? We covered all three articles, right?
Yeah, I think so. If anything interesting comes out of these, I'll be on it and let you know. But ultimately, I mean, this is kind of just mostly for us who already know that prohibition sucks. Like, just another way for us to point out when it inevitably fails. That like, we told you so. We know this is the way things are. Hello, So that's all.
And I guess well, everyone's making Biden memes, right? I guess it's more of like the FDA on this. But
Yeah, it's weird, dude.
I guess
Like,
Biden's
it's
like
the FDA.
approving. I guess like Biden's like an approval of it.
I think that the president can veto shit. I think that's what it does. So the FDA only tries to get away with what it thinks it can get away with, because everything says Biden this or that. But from what I'm reading, it's not like a Biden law. It might just be that whoever the president is gets the credit, But yeah, I think that if the president actively didn't want it to happen, they wouldn't be able to do it. So I just think that they just push a little further each time, and that's it. I mean, and I'm not like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't like read like a fucking, political science book, but I swear, guys, I did research trying to find an answer to that question today. And I am not much closer to an actual answer to how that shit fucking works. But yeah, when it's just like a bureaucracy, whatever agency, they can just write regulation, it seems. So until until you sue them or something like that, they can just sort of do whatever they want.
That's crazy.
Yes. And then I have a quote in mind for today, but I really wanted to find it first. I didn't know if you had one.
I do, yeah.
That was actually pretty good. All right, well, if you got one, you go ahead. I'm not finding the one I'm looking for.
If you got one, we can just do two too, I guess, if you want. I don't know if this is like an actual quote, but it's like, I guess it's kind of like a definition. But yeah, we'll just roll with it anyway.
All right.
So
well, I'll do this one, and if you hate it, we can just cut it out. This is the one I was looking for, but it was poignant. Giving up smoking is the easiest thing in the world. I know because I've done it thousands of times. That's Mark Twain.
Yeah, I feel that. I tried to quit so many times, man.
Yeah, well, I just feel like when you're ready, you're ready. Like when I was ready to quit smoking cigarettes, like I was just done one day, and I went years without smoking. Now I just roll my own when I feel like I need one.
I don't know. When I was trying to quit, I definitely didn't feel ready, but I mean, I wanted to. It just my body didn't want to stop.
Make you? That's usually the best motivation.
Yeah. Well, my son was like developing like light asthma at the time. So that's really what pushed me over to stop.
That's good. You're a good dad.
Right. But I mean, I never smoked in the car or anything or the house. I always smoked outdoors. Even before I got married and started a family, just because I didn't like that feeling of like, or that smell. I didn't like the feeling of the smell.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I never liked it. But yeah, I guess we'll do this. Now, I think this is more of like a definition, not a quote, but it says, agorism has the ultimate goal of bringing about a society in which all relations between people are voluntary exchanges, a free market, ideologically. It is a term representing a revolutionary type of market anarchism. It integrates the idea of counter-economics and the advocacy of untaxed black market activity. That's agorism for you.
Free the Agora.
Agorist Nexus out.
Peace.